Hey, what's up, my YouTube fam? I'm back. This is Larry with the best credit repair channel. And today we're going to be talking about the steps in disputing items off your credit report. Maybe a little long video, but I think it's going to break down everything you need to understand about disputing to get this information off your credit report. We're gonna break down all the regulations. I'm gonna go over all the ones that I use. I'm gonna explain to you why I use them. I'm gonna explain to you everything. I'm gonna give you examples on how to put together a dispute letter. I'm gonna give you the whole 9 yards in this video. So get your pen and paper ready. You definitely need to sit down and uh, and really absorb this information. It will help you in your journey to improve your credit. But first, I want to say thank you for all my new subscribers that's coming to the channel. I definitely appreciate you. Uh, the next 2 weeks, you're going to get a lot of videos just because I have the opportunity and the time to be able to pump out more videos. So we're going to cover a lot of information in the next couple weeks. And then try to continue that trend on even after that. But I appreciate, please like and subscribe to the channel. It just helps me push these videos out and get this good information out to people that actually need it, use it, and not confused with a lot of misinformation out there when it comes to credit repair. We keep it real. A lot of people out there are not really good at it, but it's an easy business to start, and a lot of information. A lot of people don't do their research and they just repeat what they heard from other people. So, or come up with gimmicks and stuff that that people that are experts in this field know, really don't work. But anyway, let's get into it. So, what we're gonna do is I'm gonna break down. Okay, when you first look at your credit report and you want to dispute an item. So let's start from the first thing you want to do. Your first thing is you pull in the credit report. But where do you want to pull that credit report from? Remember, your credit report is a 7 year snapshot. If you're not getting a 7 year snapshot of your credit report, you're doing yourself a disservice. If you get a credit report that's only showing 2 years of payment history, how do you not know in the third year or the fourth year or the fifth year there's inaccurate information reporting? You're doing yourself a disservice. So go get you a complete credit report. I always tell people, I preach this all the time, go to annualcreditreport.com. Now, you can, after you get that full complete credit report, I'm not saying don't have identity IQ or any of FICO or any other credit monitoring services you have. They're good to have, but we're talking about you want to find out what is actually inaccurate that is an official credit report from the big three. Because what if you want to take these jokers to court? What if you want? You want to make sure that you have an official credit report. I mean, remember, these are big corporations, big time lawyers, all that other stuff. You're pulling a credit report from some third party, they're going to come back and say that that's not our credit report. So we can't be responsible for third parties that are downloading information and we don't know how that information is downloaded. So you want to go and get an official 7 year credit report, which is free through annualcreditreport.com. Step one. Now you're going over your credit report and you find some inaccuracies. So what sections do you want to apply when you're trying to dispute? There are two sections that you want. Section 611, which is procedures in case of disputed accuracies, right? That's what you want to do. Why do you want to use this section? It says if the completeness. So your credit report must be complete. It can't be missing information. Your 2 year history must be complete or accurate of any item of information contained in a consumer file at a consumer reporting agency is disputed by the consumer and the consumer notifies the agency directly or indirectly through a reseller of such dispute, the agency shall, free of charge, conduct a reasonable investigation to determine whether disputed information is inaccurate and record the current status of the disputed information. So means if they don't put, when you dispute that item and they don't put disputed on that item on your credit report, they're in violation. That's violation number one you got them on, right? So they have to put this item is in dispute. It's being disputed. And they have to put that in there, right? Or delete the item from the file according to paragraph 5 before the end. Listen, before the end of the 30-day period beginning on the date in which the agency received notice of the disputed item from the consumer or reseller. That's the first thing you need to understand with that. The other thing is section 623, responsibility of the furnisher of information to consumer reporting agencies. What is the duty of the furnisher? The duty of the furnisher is to provide accurate information, right? Now, this is what is so important. When you dispute an item, you know it's inaccurate. Now it falls into, listen, and let me read this to you, and I'm going to explain. Reporting information with accurate knowledge of error. A person shall not furnish any information related to a consumer to any consumer reporting agency if the person knows or has reasonable cause to believe that the information is inaccurate. Reporting information after notice of information of error. A person shall not furnish information relating to a consumer to any consumer agency if the person has been notified by the consumer at the address specified by the person for such notice that specific information is inaccurate, right? So you disputed that item. You put them on notice that they are disputing inaccurate information. It is also their responsibility to report accurate information. But after you disputed that item, you know it's inaccurate. Now you have notified them of the inaccuracies. Section 623 digs a little deeper and say now you are knowingly reporting inaccurate information. Violation number 2. Right? So that's why you need to understand, right? So in understanding that, how do I put my dispute letter together? So the first thing that you want to do is when you're putting I have examples of dispute letters. So you're going to have Experian, right? You got their address, you got your address, you're going to have the date. And then on the subject line, you're going to say, I am disputing inaccurate information on my credit report, on my Experian, on my TransUnion, on my Equifax credit report. You're going to put down dispute number 1, and then you're going to put down who it could be. Let's say it's Walmart. We're going to say it's we're going to say that the 7-year payment history is inaccurate. We're going to make it simple for you. You're going to have the account number that is listed on the credit report, and what's the name? You're going to say, this is my dispute number 1. One thing that you should do is quit trying to dispute 5, 6, 7 things at one time. You give the credit bureaus outs, right? Because now they're going to act like they're confused in what you're disputing and try to dispute accurate information and then tell you it's verified. So don't do that. I know it's a long process. I know that it's irritating. It takes a long time and you're trying to get it all fast. but you have to realize you want to be effective in it, and you want to catch the credit bureaus and the original creditor doing what's wrong, right? So you want to dispute the one thing that is inaccurate. You're looking at my 7-year payment history. It is not complete. I'm looking at from the time I opened that account to the time it's closed, there is missing information. So what that first dispute is, I am disputing the inaccurate payment history or 7-year payment history that is incomplete and inaccurate. The months of March 2020, April 2020, and May 2020 are missing information, which causes this account to be incomplete. Now, it's no data in there. It has to be complete. That's it. It's a completeness. So the completeness of this 7-year payment history is inaccurate. It is not complete. This is grounds for deletion of this account on my credit report. Please delete this account from the violation of the incompleteness of this account. Now, after you disputed that, there's what I always do is a small little section I put underneath that. If the completeness, this is what I say, if the completeness or accuracy of any information is contained on this account, please delete account under section 611 and section 623, where 611, the procedures in case of disputed item, and section 623, the responsibility of furnisher of information to my credit report. That's it. I just put those two in there, right? Underneath that one dispute, right? So you don't need to make it complicated. You don't need to draw out this whole long thing about it. That's all you need to do. I'm going to give you another example. That we're going to use a collection agency. So same thing, dispute number 2. The name of the company, say Midland Funding, the account number, and then I'm going to say, I am disputing this collection account for inaccurate reporting of a past due balance. Right? Collection accounts can't report a past due balance simply because you haven't agreed to any contract, you haven't signed any contract, and most important, you never agreed to any payment schedule. So if you haven't agreed to a payment schedule, they can't say you're past due on a payment. That's why. Because they can't report that. So you say, I am disputing the inaccurate reporting of a past due amount of $450. This is in a collection account. I have no contract identifying a payment schedule. The collection account is reporting inaccurate information. Again, right underneath there, I put, if the completeness or accuracy of any information is contained on this account, please delete the account under section 611, procedure in case of disputed accuracy, and section 623, responsibility of furnisher of information to consumer reporting agencies. That's it. Then at the end, now these are only 2 things I'm disputing, right? And then what I put, right, under the Fair Credit Reporting Act, from the date you receive this dispute, you must complete with your investigation before the end of the 30-day period. Please send me a hard copy of the completed investigation. That's what I do. Then sincerely, boom. Right? And you're going to send your driver's license and a copy of your social security card. Now you got that dispute together. Now that was what we call a indirect dispute, because this is under the Fair Credit Reporting Act, and if there's violations, you can sue. You can't sue under the direct. But I take it a step further. I'm going to have a copy of my credit report that show the missing information, and I'm going to do a direct dispute with the creditor. I am disputing this information. Same thing, you're going to have the creditor's address, right? That they're reporting on your credit report because they should be reporting the address that show you can dispute this information. That's the address they're putting down. You're disputing this information, right? Your name, the date, subject, I am disputing inaccurate information that you are reporting to whatever credit report, TransUnion, Equifax, Experian. Now you could be a little bit more. You don't have to be as blunt. You could be more detailed. You could be a little bit and explain a little bit more. I am disputing. I pulled my credit report from annualcreditreport.com, which is the official credit report of the big three. You are reporting inaccurate payment history on my credit report that is causing creditors to deny me credit based on the inaccurate information that you are reporting on my credit report that could be a violation of the Fair Credit Reporting Act. I am disputing this through through the credit bureaus under the Fair Credit Reporting Act for violations. I am submitting a direct dispute to you to put you on notice that you are submitting inaccurate information to my credit report, and the continual reporting of inaccurate information means that you will be knowingly under section 611 knowingly reporting inaccurate information based on my notification to you that you are reporting inaccurate information that could be a violation and could be subject under the Fair Credit Reporting Act. That's it. You sent your direct dispute to the original creditor. And then in the end you say, I am requesting that you delete this account based on the inaccurate information that it is reporting that is causing creditors to deny me credit. You have to put that in there. Because now you have to look at, if you're going to take it to court, is there punitive damages that you can sue because it has affected your ability to obtain credit? Think about that. So you want to make sure that you're following this path, right? So now let's say you did that. And the credit bureaus come back and say, it's verified. Excuse me. Now you move to step 2. What is step 2? Now you hear a lot of people talk about 609 letters and all that, right? You got to understand what section 609 is saying, right? So a lot of people use this, and then because like I said, they're repeating what they heard. What is 609? So 609 is the disclosure to consumer, 1681G. Let me read it to you. Information on file, sources, report recipients. Every consumer reported age shall, upon request and subject to section 610, I'm going to talk to you about that section, 1681H, clearly and accurately disclose to the consumer all information in a consumer file at the time of request. Right? So that doesn't mean that the credit bureaus have a contract. They don't have contracts. They don't request contracts. Right? So you don't ask for that. People ask for things the credit bureaus do not have, which they're sitting up there looking and laughing because you're asking. You don't ask for any type of information. You just ask for all information that they have on file. Now, how do you put together a 609 letter? So remember, you just disputed and they came back and said, right? They came back and said that this account was verified. So now you're going to do a method of verification letter using section 609, right? So now you're going to credit bureau's address, your address, the date. The date's very important, right? The date's important because you know when you sent it in. You know, we're going to talk about how you send in your letters. You know when you sent it in and put them on notice, say, hey, no, I dated this letter. I know about when you should have gotten it, right? So you're gonna. So let me go back. Yes, you're gonna send your letter certified so you can see when actual day received and they're on the clock. Send your letter certified. You don't need to do mail receipt. Just send it certified that gives them a tracking number when you know they received that letter. Right? Now on your reinvestigate, you're gonna have subject reinvestigation of disputed items, right? And when you get that credit report, you can put the reference number on that credit investigation that they sent you. Reference number, whatever number they gave you that identified that investigation that they sent you that said it was verified. And you're going to say, after you're going to say, under section 629, I am requesting, well, let me say, under section 629, the disclosure to consumers 1681G, I am requesting all information in my consumer file that assisted TransUnion, Equifax, Experian in the investigation that this account being verified as accurate, right? This account that were disputed are below, because you want to re-put back the same item you disputed on the first thing. How did you verify this account as accurate? And you dispute the same thing, or just say they moved the dates, because sometimes they just move dates. You're like, how you just move a date? And then you put in, I initially disputed that the date of May, June, July of 2020 was missing information. On the response, those dates were moved but are still inaccurate. So you move the dates from May, June, July to September, October, November, which is still inaccurate. And how did you verify this as being accurate? See, this is real credit repair and credit how to dispute items, right? Now, you're going to go back and just say, my 7-year payment history is still inaccurate. It is still inaccurate. Now, where does Section 610 come in? Because you want the credit bureaus to know, I know what I'm doing. Section 610, 1681H, the conditions and form disclosed to consumer. That's what it says. It's giving you the conditions that need to be met for them to send you the information under Section 609. A consumer reporting agency shall require, as a condition of making the disclosure requirement under Section 609, 1681G, that this consumer furnishes proper identification. So when you're sending that letter, you're going to send that driver's license and social security number to say, I have provided the information or the identification under Section 610, right? And then I'm also putting it, if the completeness and accuracy of information obtained in this account, please delete this account under Section 620, 611 and 623. And then at the bottom, Experian, Equifax, TransUnion, you are providing a credit report with inaccurate information to creditors that is using this information to deny me credit. You want to put that in. Now, this is why you build your case. Now, remember, they should have marked it disputed. If they didn't, violation number 1, right? They have to have that completed before the 30th day, right? Got to make sure they cannot be extending your dispute. They got 30 days to get that dispute done. The only time they can extend a dispute is if you sent in additional information while they were still in the investigation period. Then they can extend it another 15 minutes, and it's in the Fair Credit Reporting Act. Excuse me. So, but they shouldn't be extended. If they're going outside of 30 days, they're in violation. They're in violation, and you need to put them on notice. So, now say it comes back, verify it again. What you do is you send in a final letter of a disputed item. After that, you have to make a decision. If you know it's inaccurate, what you need to do. Do I need to take the credit bureaus to court? What should I do? Because if that information is not accurate and complete, it's inaccurate and it must be deleted. So it's just that simple. Don't cost much to take them to court. You go down and file a court case with $75, maybe $100, depending on the state you're in, and take them to court. Most likely, you're probably going to get it deleted because they probably don't want to go to court over something simple, especially if it's an account that doesn't owe any money, blase, blase. The creditor is going to get a letter too because they're the ones that are submitting the inaccurate information. And if they're not, then the credit bureaus are changing information unknowingly to the original creditor. Remember, you also can add this information must be submitted on the ACDV form, right? Because that's the form the creditors use to submit the information to the original creditors. We can talk about Metro 2 and all the codes. We can talk about all that. But for you, sometimes people get caught up in Metro 2. But for you, you can't sue under Metro 2. It's really a guide. So you can't even sue them under Metro 2. That's why you should be really concentrating on the Fair Credit Reporting Act and kind of use Metro 2 as a guide to say, hey, this information, based on how you are supposed to be reporting to the credit bureau, you're not even following your own guidelines, which is creating the inaccuracy of my credit report. And that's just how you got to word it. This is just how you got to use it, right? So we talked about step one. We talked about the follow-up, how to use the 609 letter. We talked about that final letter, putting them on notice. We talked about how do you send a letter certified. We talked about all of this stuff, right? So if you have any more questions about how to send a dispute letter, hey, shoot me a comment, shoot me an email. I also have a master dispute package with all this information in it, guides that help you put together a solid dispute letter, what you should be doing, all that other type of stuff. So we're going to be digging deep. So for me on this channel, it's all about keeping it real with you and giving you the facts about credit repair, because that's the things you need to do, how to build your credit, how to get on point. I got some more powerful videos coming to y'all because I got the time to really get these out to y'all. So I appreciate every single one. Please like, subscribe, and share. If I missed anything, you have any questions, please shoot me an email. My email is in the description. You can ask anybody. I've had tons of conversations. If you email me, most times I'll give you in my email, that's usually my phone number. If you want to talk to me, I've spent 20 minutes, 30 minutes. I spent up to an hour talking to people about their credit and helping them out. It's a joy for me to help people because it's enough out here for all of us. And man, this system is set. If you don't know how to play the game, it's set to keep you losing the game. And you got to know, you got to be on offense and you got to have defense. So, but I appreciate y'all. Thank you. Please subscribe. Please like, share. Please hit the thumbs up, man. I'm putting the work in, and all I ask you to do, hit the thumbs up to say, hey, I appreciate you taking the time to research to get us this information. It's free to hit that thumbs up, man. And I appreciate y'all. Y'all have a blessed day, and I'm out.